Hopefully that worked. Sorry if there was no sound. I had to unplug and replug. Let me know if someone could please comment if they can hear now. I'm sorry. Good, thank you. I just had to unplug and replug, and they didn't hear me in the beginning. Okay, here we go. Alcott wins it to the near board. Back for Thomas. Thomas over to Skyberg. Skyberg all the way to the far board for Helm. Helm tries to slide it through for Alcott. Gets blocked by Prior Lake. Prior Lake centers out into neutral. Skyberg chasing. It'll come back for Thomas. Thomas will backhand to the near board for Helm. Helm will push it out. Trying for Stoltz. Helm will pick it up again in the feet, and Stoltz will put it back deep in the Prior Lake zone. Down in the near corner, Alcott working on the boards with Stoltz. It'll come up to Thomas. Thomas with a quick shot, and chest saved by the Prior Lake goalie. They all can hear. Yay! I was worried because if I commented this whole game and nobody could hear me, it would have all been for nothing. And I love you guys. Halverson took the face off. Prior Lake will come walking out with it through neutral and into the Elks zone. Round one centered. Skyberg blocks the pass. And it'll stay in the zone. Oh, it'll come out for Halverson. Halverson with speed, beating the defender in once, and a great save by the Laker goalie, and it'll come back behind their net and up the far board. They'll try to center it out front. Shuzinski will get a hold of it. Riley with a shot, gets blocked. Riley will try to center, gets blocked back down into the corner. Riley tries to put it behind the net. It'll be rung around the other way. Prior Lake tries to center it out, and it'll go too far in front and for icing. And the face-off will go down into the Prior Lake zone on the near board. About 8 minutes left in the first period. White taking the face-off. White wins it back for Bratzel. Bratzel for Rotz. Rotz with a quick shot is blocked. White trying to come in with it. Bratzel in the corner. Bratzel up for Bassett. Bassett back down for Westgard. Westgard puts it back behind the net. White will pick it up. Leave it back for Westgard. Westgard tries to center it, but it gets blocked by Prior Lake, and they'll come back out the other way through neutral and into the Elks zone. Kind of a shot will miss the net, and it'll come right back out, and a quick shot and blocked by Rotz. Bratzel trying to push it out, and it's a hand pass. The faceoff will come just outside the Elks zone on the near board. Bratzel taking the faceoff. Pushes it forward, back behind the Prior Lake D. White chasing. Prior Lake will regroup and throw it all the way in through neutral and into the Elks zone. Bratzel will pick it up and walk it into neutral. White across for Westgard. Westgard puts it down deep in the Prior Lake zone. Prior Lake will launch it up the near board and out into neutral. And they'll put it down deep in the Elks zone. Sherritt pushes it to the corner. Rotz and White back in the corner. Tries to leave it up. It'll come out of the zone. And Prior Lake regrouping back in the near board. And Rotz will pick it up just inside the Elks zone and put it across. Stoltz bats it down for Helm. Helm able to keep pushing through and is holding it. Stoltz holds the zone and puts it down deep in the Prior Lake zone. Helm up top takes a quick shot and glove saved by the Lakers goalie. He's out. He's right there. Halverson taking the face off, gets pushed through into the corner. Prior Lake with it in the far corner, brings it all the way back around this way. Back out into neutral, Thomas. It's a 2-on-1, Hughes getting back. It'll come up high and over to the far board. Truzinski to pick it up. Can't quite hang on to it, and it'll come through. Oop, it'll just glide right into Sherritt, and Sherritt will cover. Like 3 people missed that, and it just glided right into Sherritt. Sherritt's just like, I got this. Don't worry, I got it. Halverson taking the face off. It'll be pushed to the board. And Prior Lake will hold the zone. Hughes trying to keep it away. Riley will pick it up on the near board. It'll come up and back out. Riley keeping it to the corner. Hughes helping. Gets pushed out toward the board, and Prior Lake will throw it up and into the netting. And the face-off will come to the near side in the Elks zone. Halverson taking the face-off. Pushes it to the board. Hughes trying to get it out. Will throw it out. Riley and Truzinski chasing. Prior Lake will put it off the near board and passes it to Hughes. Hughes making space, passes up to Truzinski. Truzinski walking in, leaves it back for Riley. Riley skating through into the corner, tries to center it out for Truzinski, and it's batted out. Hughes holds the zone with his hand, and Prior Lake will have a breakaway. Quick shot and a great save by Sherritt. Centers! And the net is off. And Prior Lake will put it in after the whistle, and Riley goes after him for it. Somebody said do better, ref, but I don't understand that because he did blow the whistle when the net was off. So he did his job. All right. Alcott will take the face off, and the ref will make him flinch once and then drop the puck. Helm will put it off the boards. Prior Lake will hold the zone and walk back in. Quick shot. It'll deflect into the top corner of the net. Sherritt had no control over that one. It went off somebody's stick. And the score is now 1-1 with 4 minutes, 49 seconds left. It'll come back down into the Elks zone. Skyberg over to Rotz in the nearest board. Alcott will push it out of the zone, give chase, and it'll backhand into the stands and almost hit Lincoln's grandma. Lincoln's grandma is okay, though. Lincoln's grandma is all right. All right. So is that. Rotz will go over to Skyberg. Skyberg will put it down deep in the Prior Lake zone. They'll put it up the near boards. It'll come back out for Skyberg. Skyberg over to Rotz, and Rotz will flip it down deep into the Prior Lake zone. Prior Lake will push it around. And Prior Lake will come back 1-on-1. A good poke by Rotz. Alcott brings it back behind the net to the near side. Starts skating. Lost control of the puck. And it'll come all the way back into the Elks zone. Hughes controlling over for Skyberg. Skyberg walks it up and puts it down deep in the Prior Lake zone. Gets slew-footed. And Prior Lake will throw it into the netting. Face-off will come down into the Prior Lake zone on the far board. Brotzel will take the face-off. Wins it back to Hughes. Hughes walks in, quick shot, tip. Brotzel trying to put it in. It has 2 chances at a rebound. Couldn't quite get it in there, and it'll come out. Westgard will hold the zone. Bassett will keep it and throw it back down deep. Prior Lake on the near board. White trying to push it through. Prior Lake will bring it all the way up the far boards, leave it out for Bratzel. Bratzel over for Westgard. Wasn't ready for it and will put it down deep for Bratzel. Bratzel centers out for Hughes. Hughes with a shot. Just misses wide. Bratzel on the near board. Prior Lake will center it out front. Bassett will get a hold of it, and Hughes will go all the way up to the far board for Bratzel. Bratzel walking in, quick shot, and will deflect off of two different things and trickle in for the Prior Lake goalie to cover. 2 minutes, 45 seconds left in the first period. It's still 1-1. Halverson in to take the face off. It's pushed down into the corner. Riley working down deep. Prior Lake will put it off the boards and up high, and it'll come back down into the Elks zone. Rot's in a foot race. Rot's able to push it away, and Thomas helping. Centers out front by Prior Lake. Lincoln in a race. Lincoln able to push it through, but Prior Lake will regroup and control out into neutral and put it down deep into the Elk zone. Prior Lake first one to the puck on the far side. Backhands it out front. Rotz blocks the first one. The second one, Sherritt will save, and Thomas pushes somebody over and will go to the box for roughing. So the Elks will now go on to a penalty kill. How fun. You know, I love pushing people over, apparently. Amazing. All right. Halverson will take the face-off on the far side to start the penalty kill. Halverson wins it back to the corner for Skyberg. Skyberg will loft it all the way down into the Prior Lake zone. Halverson up front defending. Their Prior Lake goalie will throw it all the way up. Rotz gets a hold of it and will throw it all the way just inside the Prior Lake zone. They'll regroup out in neutral, and it'll come back down into the Elks zone. Skyberg defending on the near board. Prior Lake walking behind the net. Will try to center up top. They'll put it back down low. Walking around in the corner. Rotz defending. Come up top. D to D. Lincoln will with a nice block. And it'll go wide back behind the net. They'll center it out front. Halverson and Truzinski there to knock it all the way down. Prior Lake goalie will leave it for their player, and Halverson will defend. On the near board, Halverson playing good D. Alcott will walk out into... They call that a hand pass when Alcott grabbed it and put it down to himself. Oh, you can't grow it and throw it out in front of you. You have to put it down just below you. That's right. I forgot about that. It'll come back down into the Elk zone. And Skyberg will try to throw it down. Gets kept in by Prior Lake. It'll center out front. They'll hold the zone. Stoltz with a good block, and it'll be pushed down deep. Hughes will slap shot it all the way around. Prior Lake will hold the zone and center it out front. Stick save by Sherritt, and he'll cover. .34 seconds left in the period. 24 left on the penalty kill. Stoltz will take the face-off. Wins it to the far board. Hughes will put it up the boards, but it is held in by Prior Lake and rung back all the way back around for Bassett. Bassett will throw it up. It'll make it just outside the zone. It'll go off the boards. Alcott walking in. Stoltz with a quick shot and glove save by Prior Lake. 6 seconds left. 6 seconds left on the penalty kill. 16 left in the period. Alcott taking the face off, neutralizes. Prior Lake will push it through, but Stoltz will keep it down low. The penalty is killed off, and there's 7 seconds left in the period. Hughes back with it, neutral, over to Bassett. Bassett will throw it down deep in the Prior Lake zone, and the period will end. So after the first period, we have the scores tied 1-1, and then we'll switch sides and come back. Oh, how long do you have?
I should make it to the next. We'll change it in between periods for sure.
Well, you could probably make it to the end of the game, to be honest. Otherwise, if it's just a little bit left, I can draw it up for you. I'm pretty good at it, don't you? Third generation vending machines. Yeah. Welcome back to the second period. Feels like it's been ages. All right. Halverson will take the face off. It'll neutralize. Prior Lake will come away with it and put it down deep into the Elks zone. Sure, it will stop it behind the net for Rotz. Rotz puts it up the boards for Trzynski. Gets stopped. Centers out for Riley. Riley will give it up for Halverson, but it'll be pushed through. And Prior Lake goalie will push it to one side. They'll go off the boards, and it's thrown into the Elk River bench. And the face-off will come down into the Prior Lake zone on the far board. Halverson will take the face-off once again. We'll win it back for Skyberg. Skyberg over for Rotz. Rotz will walk it in. Backhand it, go off the side of the net. And Prior Lake will put it up the near boards. Halverson will stop him. Trzynski can't quite hold the zone, and Prior Lake will come back 2-on-2 the other way. And Prior Lake is offside, so they have to regroup. So Elks have a chance to get it up. A big pass from Skyberg to Riley, up for Halverson, just can't quite get there. Skyberg holding the zone. Trzynski working. It'll float back out into neutral. Hughes will pick it up, walk the line, and up for Halverson. Halverson will throw it down deep into the Prior Lake zone. Prior Lake will bring it all the way around the far boards. Thomas tries to hold the zone, and Prior Lake will come back the other way. Hughes with a great poke check. Thomas will throw it all the way up. Prior Lake will get the pass, and whatever that was, Hughes will throw it all the way down for icing. And it'll come back, the face-off will come back down into the Elk zone on the near board. Ooh. Brotzel taking the face-off, comes back to the Prior Lake defense. They'll ring it around behind the net. Thomas to grab it in the corner. White trying. Prior Lake with a quick shot will miss wide and come up the near boards. Prior Lake gains control again and will leave it back for their D. Quick D-to-D pass. Shot and glove save by Sherritt. The Elks will come back to the near side for the face-off. Bratzel taking the face-off. It'll come back into the corner. Bratzel working behind the net. And we'll float it through for Hughes. Hughes up for Westgard. Good God, man. Hughes back to the board for Westgard. Bratzel will pick it up and put it off the boards. Fort Prior Lake will fire it back the other way. Hughes puts it off the boards up for Bratzel. Bratzel starts skating. Gets it into the Prior Lake zone. Tries to give it to Westgard and it misses the target. And Prior Lake will come back the other way. Tries to center. White intercepts and it'll come back into neutral. Prior Lake fires it off the boards and all the way down. And it's called no icing. Thomas will throw it all the way through center. Alcott will get a hold of it and is taken down. And the Elks are working down low in the Elks zone, in the Prior Lake zone. It's centered out front. Just a little miss by Alcott, and Rotz will take a quick swing off the far board and a quick save by the Prior Lake goaltender. I guess the refs picked up the let it play mentality a little too much. All right, Alcott will push it back for Bassett. Bassett over to Rotz. Rotz will put it down deep into the Prior Lake zone. It is backhanded up. 2-on-1. Prior Lake. Bassett lays down. Sherritt will make the initial save, but it'll bounce just down for Prior Lake to put it away. And the Elks go down 2-1. .11:39 left in the second period. Halverson takes the face-off, back over for Trzynski, back to Rotz. Rotz puts it off the boards. Prior Lake will push it back the other way and down deep into the Elk zone. Bassett back to pick it up behind the net. We'll try to put it up for Riley. Prior Lake will hold the zone. Rotz behind the net. Almost goes out front, but he's able to control and try to put it up for Riley. And it gets pushed back. Bassett tries to clear, and it comes back into the Elk zone. Rotz in the corner. Prior Lake will control and dump it back down behind the net. Rotz will go up the boards. It'll come back for Rotz behind the net, and he'll try to push it up the far boards, but it's stopped by Prior Lake. Up on the far board, Halverson brings it around the near board. Prior Lake will hold the zone and throw it back down. Sherritt pushes it behind the net, and Rotz will float it all the way down on net. And Trzynski will, Halverson does it like a spin around shot and can't quite get a hold of it. And Prior Lake will come back the other way. Quick save by Sherritt. Will put it behind the net. Hughes will put it high off the glass and it'll come back out into neutral. Prior Lake will control and float it all the way back down in the Elk zone. Skyberg to pick it up. We'll put it off the far board. Nobody there. And it'll be put back down behind the net. Halverson will pick it up. Trzynski will try to put it off the boards, and it's held in. Riley throws it out into neutral. Nobody there again. And it'll be put back down. Oh my God. Trzynski will try to slap shot it down, misses it. And Prior Lake will come back the other way. Skyberg with it will throw it out for Halverson. Prior Lake will hold the zone multiple times. And it'll come back for Hughes. Hughes will throw it all the way down for icing. And the face-off will come back down into the Elk zone. Someone yell, move your feet. Bratzel will take the face-off down in the Elk zone. The Elks really have to start moving their feet. Bratzel will win it over for Skyberg. Skyberg up for White, just a little behind him. Skyberg will pick it up and create space back for Hughes. Hughes all the way up for White. White will dump it down deep, right on net for a cover. Mom, you do not call the play. Lord. White will take the face off. It'll be pushed out. Hughes will keep it in and put it back down deep. It'll float back the other way and come out all the way down into the Elk zone. Skyberg will be back to pick it up. He'll put it off the near boards for Westgard. Westgard can't get a hold of it. And Prior Lake will touch it before they get onside. And the face-off will come just outside the Elk zone. All right, Gabby, your time to yell. Yell, move your feet, please. I beg of you. Bratzel taking the face-off. It'll be pushed through into the near board. Hughes will put it off the boards, and Westgard will pick it up in center and try to push it through. Prior Lake will stop and come back the other way. Quick shot and blocker save by Sherritt. Centered out front, another quick shot and a great save by Sherritt. Brad, move your feet! Holy God. I'm tired of it. Alcott will take the face off, push it to the far board. Prior Lake will hold the zone and bring it all the way around to the near boards. It'll come back for Rotz. Rotz misses the first attempt, so Thomas will push it back up in the corner. Stoltz also can't pick it up, and Prior Lake will hold the zone, but Stoltz is able to clear. Helm puts it down deep into the Prior Lake zone. Stoltz back behind the net, fighting. Helm will center out for Alcott. Alcott with a quick shot, and nobody can get the rebound. Rotz will initially hold the zone, and Alcott pushes it through. Prior Lake will push it out of the zone, and Rotz is fighting on the near board. They'll push it through 2-on-1. It'll try to center it out front, and nobody's there for Prior Lake to put it away. Alcott trying to pull it off the boards. Sitting in the corner, it'll come out for Rotz. Rotz behind the net. Comes back to the near side. Is walking through. Tries to give it up for Alcott. Alcott will take a spill. And Prior Lake will control back in their zone. Quick pass over to the near side, and Prior Lake is first in. The face-off down in the Prior Lake zone. Halverson taking it. It'll go back for the into the corner for Prior Lake. Riley will pick it up on the far board, trying to center it. Nobody there. Prior Lake will come back and put it down deep into the Elk zone. Bassett back behind the net to pick it up, and it'll come up front, and Sherritt will cover. 6:36 left in the second period. Prior Lake leads the Elks 2-1. Halverson taking the face off. Prior Lake will control. Quick shot. Pad saved by Sherritt, and it'll push it into the corner. Prior Lake down low. We'll put it up on the boards. Halverson will push his guy over. And Bassett hitting in the corner too. Riley on the far board, and Prior Lake will bring it all the way around. Lincoln pulls it out of the zone. Prior Lake will put it back off the boards. Hughes able to knock it away. Hughes defending. Prior Lake with a quick shot, misses the net. Bassett coming up, puts it off the boards. Prior Lake will hold the zone. It'll come back up. Another shot will miss the net. Prior Lake or Hughes behind the net, backhands it, tries it off the board. Nobody there. Bassett hitting his guy, and Truzinski will loft it all the way back into the Prior Lake zone. Everybody will go for a change, leaving Hughes. Prior Lake will come back the other way, and it'll be icing, and we'll bring the face-off back down into the Prior Lake zone on the near board. Brotzel taking the face-off on the near board. Pushes it to the board. Prior Lake will backhand it up and out of the rink, out of the field of play. So the face-off will come back to the same spot. You're not supposed to do that. That's out of bounds. Out of bounds. Who wants that to? I really can't say anything. Quick shot will go off the post, and it'll come back the other way. Jordan trying to get good defensive play by Rotz to block the pass, and it'll come back to the near board for Westgard. Westgard pushing it back behind the net. We'll skate it up the far side, give it up for White. Prior Lake will put it off the glass and come back the other way. Skyberg with it, put it back into neutral. White will walk it into the Prior Lake zone, leave it back for Westgard. Westgard will push it through for White. White trying to put it behind him, and Bratzel's standing right behind him. Skyberg will loft it back down deep. Bratzel in to forecheck. White will pick it up on the far board. Use your point, and it'll float back into center. Skyberg will pick it up and put it back down deep into the Prior Lake zone. They'll float the pass all the way up into the Elks zone. Quick shot deflected wide and centered out front. Nobody there. Quick shot again and deflected wide. Helm on the far board. Hughes back for Hughes. Hughes will bring it all the way around. Prior Lake will hold the zone. And another shot will go just across the crease and into the other corner, back behind the net the other way. Skyberg with it in the corner. Will start skating up for Stoltz. Stoltz will do a turn and then float it to nowhere. And Hughes will pick it up and push it forward. Prior Lake will regroup back in their zone, and they'll put it down deep into the Elk zone. Skyberg will pick it up behind the net, leave it back for Hughes. Hughes will go off the glass and go out for Helm. Helm has room, but puts it down deep into the Prior Lake zone. Prior Lake will pick it up behind the net and go over to the far boards. Try to center it. Helm will keep control. Put it forward. Can't quite get it to Alcott. And it'll be flipped up into the Elks bench. And the faceoff will come back down deep into the Prior Lake zone on the far board. Exactly 3 minutes left in the second period. Elks need to find some more energy, and some tape-to-tape passing would be ideal. Halverson takes the face-off, comes over for Truzinski, but Prior Lake will control and start skating back the other way into the Elks zone. Their Prior Lake is offside. And the what? I didn't think it was offside. And then could have been both. Halverson will take the face off. win it back for Thomas. Thomas over to Hughes. Hughes off the boards for Trusinski. Trusinski will put it down deep, and the Prior Lake will cover. So the faceoff will come out. Thomas can't quite get a hold of the puck, and it'll come back out into neutral. Trusinski trying to come back the other way. And Prior Lake will take a shot that goes way wide and come up the far boards. Riley trying to clear, can't quite get a hold of it. And Thomas will start walking back the other way, give it up for Trusinski, a little too far in front of him. And Prior Lake will be behind the net. We'll give it up. Hughes will hold the zone and put it back down deep. Halverson will get a hold of it. Quick shot, and it's blocked. Thomas will float it back down into the Prior Lake zone. Prior Lake behind the net will try to get it up. It'll come out into neutral. Hughes trying to keep it off the boards, and he'll float it back down. Prior Lake will control it behind their net and go all the way through. Hughes will get it back and put it back down. Prior Lake will fire it up. Riley will hold the zone to center it for Westgard. Westgard back for Halverson. Halverson can't get a hold of it, and it'll come back out of the zone. Hughes will take control and loft it back down deep. White and Westgard battling. White picks it up in the corner. Bratzel helping. Bratzel right there will center it out front, and nobody's there. Rot's trying to keep it in. He's able to push it back, but Prior Lake will send it all the way down on net. And Sherritt will pass it all the way up for Westgard. Westgard will leave it back for Bratzel. Bratzel trying to go through traffic, can't quite. Rotz will walk it in and try to put it down deep in the corner. 40 seconds left in the period. White gets a hold of it in the corner. Westgard trying to help. It'll come up the far board and is able to push it out. Prior Lake coming back the other way. Quick shot on net. Pad save. Prior Lake will control out off the boards. Quick shot. And it'll go in. And with 18 seconds left in the second period, Prior Lake will lead 3-1. Prior Lake, Alcott will win it back for Rotz. Rotz will put it down deep in the Lakers zone. Prior Lake and Alcott battling behind the net. Helm helping. Prior Lake just wasting time. And we'll see you back for the third period. Elks are down 3-1 after the first two. I started volleyball at 10 a.m. I got here like a little after 6:30. Got me stressed, you know. No, it's actually fake. They're fake. I'm convinced. I'm actually convinced. So like their defense is fine. It's good. It's like pretty sure I'm supposed to be like volleyball team today. We started on that. But the exact same thing. Our defense is so good. And then the offense. What do we do? Like get it in the net, not inside, not over, in. Oh, right. Yeah. Just thought. There's like no one in the middle. Did you notice that? Oh no. Like I'm actually taking it back. It's like even I know what's wrong with this play right now. Yeah.
I can do it because most of it is all.
If you just
It's retracting.
yeah, well, you take it out, you set it over here. I'll put it back in, and I'll.
Okay.
I have a microphone now. That's how much it takes. There's a 12 cc syringe, 16 cc, the 12 one would be just a bit wider and a bit no, I can't reach out. I'll have to keep my own sheets. All right, coming back for the third period. The Elks are down 3-1. I had those at some point. Halverson taking the face off. He'll neutralize. Stuck in the middle. Yeah. Trzynski will come away with it. Put it down deep into the Prior Lake zone. They'll ring it all the way around the near boards. Bassett can't quite hold the zone, and it'll come all the way back down. Skyberg to pick it up behind the Elks net. He'll bring it up the near board. Held in by Prior Lake and dumped back down into the corner. Bassett will go behind the net, and it'll be shot into the near corner. Skyberg skating with it all the way up for Trzynski. Trzynski skating. It comes back out into neutral and dumped back down into the Elk zone. Thomas up for Riley on the near board. Riley tries to center. It gets intercepted and dumped back behind the net. Prior Lake walked through a quick shot. Shoulder save by Sherritt. Skyberg coming through into the near corner. Thomas helping. Working back behind the net. Thomas up off the boards to Trzynski. Thomas pulls it off the boards. falls, and Prior Lake will pick it up behind the Elks net and start walking up high. Quick shot and chest save by Sherritt. Alcott taking the face off. Alcott pushes it to the near boards. Hughes rings it all the way around for Stoltz. Just misses, and Prior Lake will dump it back all the way down deep. Hughes back behind the net and will fling it up the boards again for Stoltz. Stoltz will center out. Nobody there. Centers for Prior Lake. Hughes lays down to block the shot, but it just goes wide. Thomas back into the near corner to retrieve. Puts it up the boards for Rotz. Prior Lake holds his own. Rotz able to push it up the boards. And it is offside as Alcott entered the zone before the puck did. Lordy Lord. The face-off will come to center ice. Alcott taking the face-off. He'll win it back to the boards for Thomas. Thomas will go over for Hughes. Hughes will try to go to the far board. It hits a skate. Hughes knocks it off while it gets dumped down deep into the corner. Thomas battling. It'll come out. Hughes out front with it, and Sherritt can't quite get a handle on it. Finally does. A whistle. Bratzel taking the face off. Prior Lake will win the face off and dump it back down deep. Bratzel back to pick it up behind the net. Bassett battling. Prior Lake will center it out front. They'll walk down and just miss the net wide. Skyberg starts skating. Will go all the way out of the zone, tries to backhand it up, and it gets intercepted and thrown back down deep. Bassett coming up the far side, misses its target and will go all the way down, called no icing. Prior Lake throws it up to near board. Skyberg will hold the zone, put it down for White, and Prior Lake will come back the other way, almost a 2-on-1, but they'll throw it all the way down into the Elks zone for no icing. Up for White. Skyberg will backhand it out into center. White able to hold on to it. Puts it over for Bratzel. Bratzel can't get a handle on it. And it'll come back behind the net. Bratzel trying to pick it up. And it'll come up the near boards. Bankston will hold the zone and try to float it out into the center. Trzynski holds the zone. Can't keep the puck on his stick. And it'll come back the other way. Prior Lake working behind the net, puts it up the far boards and back out. Prior Lake tries to center it. It goes all the way through. Quick shot from the point and glove save by Sherritt. 10:48 left in the third period, and Prior Lake still leads 3-1. Halverson wins it back into the corner. Bankston picks it up and throws it around to the far side. Trzynski tries to get it out, can't get a stick on it, and it'll come back the other way. Quick shot from the near boards and saved by Sherritt. Comes up for Riley. Riley flips it all the way up for Trzynski. Trzynski all the way into the Prior Lake zone. Gets hit from behind really hard, and Trzynski's hurting. That better be either a 2-on-10 or a 5 because that was awful. Truzinski's head went straight into the dasher, and he's hurting a lot. Dude, shut up. Truzinski able to get himself back to the bench. There's 2-minute. I don't know what the penalty is going to be. Refs are talking about it right outside the box. Rich waiting to hear the final word. It'll be it's a 2-10. The Elks will go on the power play. Bratzel taking the face off. Westgard getting it, tries to center it out front. It's blocked. Westgard gets back control over for Rotz. Rotz over for Hughes. Hughes back to Rotz. Rotz walks down, shot. Glove saved by Prior Lakes goaltender. So let's just call stuff if it hurts the player. Bratzel taking the face off, pushes it back for Hughes. Hughes back down for Westgard. Westgard across for Rotz. Rotz back to Westgard. Quick shot blocked, and another shot will go back behind the net. White fighting on the near board. Rotz will come down and control. Leave it back up for White. White will come up for Hughes. Hughes will come back down to White on the near board. White back up to Hughes. Hughes over for Westgard. Westgard back up for Hughes. Down for White. White walking behind the net. Centers it out for Rotz. Not quite able. Just misses by slightly. Westgard walking up top. Quick shot. It's blocked. White able to gain control on the far board. Up for Westgard. And it'll come back out of the zone. Hughes gaining control. Hughes up to Rotz. Rotz able to push it down deep into the Prior Lake zone. Miss. Rotzel able to keep it. Alcott walking in. Leonard's it for Rotz. Alcott turns. Shot and goal! Alcott turns and scores! Yeah! And with about 9 minutes left on the clock, the Elks are able to put another one on the board, cutting Prior Lake's lead in half. It is now Prior Lake leading 3-2. That is Alcott's goal. Throws it on net and is able to put it in. Halverson takes the face-off back for Skyberg. Skyberg puts it down deep. Pulls up the near board. Bassett able to hold the zone. I can't speak. Prior Lake in the Elk zone tried to center. They missed the pass. Bassett into the corner. We'll try to put it up the boards to Riley. Riley will flip it out into neutral. It'll come back into the Prior Lake zone. They'll go up through neutral, and it's gonna be offside. If I ever go off air, I might be fighting with a parent. Just gonna say that because whatever. Halverson will take the face off over to Riley on the near board. It'll be flicked back up into neutral. Bassett will put it down deep into the Prior Lake zone. Back behind the net, Prior Lake will pick it up and backhand it out. Goes all the way down into the Elks zone. Skyberg is going to pick it up in the corner. Slap shot it up the boards for Riley. Riley pushes it forward for Westgard. Westgard tries to leave it out for Halverson. It'll go down, and Halverson is able to hold the zone and push it down deep. Prior Lake will pick it up behind the net and turn and fire it back the other way. Halverson working on the far board with Riley. Thomas able to hold the zone, and then eventually Prior Lake will fire it all the way down for icing, and the face-off will come back into the Prior Lake zone on the far side. Got 5 minutes. Alcott wins a face-off over to Stoltz. Stoltz into the corner. Thomas able to hold the zone. Only goes halfway down the board, and Stoltz is able to put it back down deep. It'll ring all the way around the boards. Thomas able to keep it in. It'll come back down to Stoltz. Stoltz tries to center out for Alcott. Couldn't quite get there. Prior Lake will fire it all the way around. Thomas holds his zone again, and it'll come back down deep into the corner. Stoltz will get it in the corner. It'll come back up the half board. And Alcott will try to walk it through. Rotz gets a hold of it, puts it down into the corner, puts it back up for Alcott. Alcott walking into the zone, wrap around. It couldn't quite get there, and Prior Lake will fire it all the way down for icing, and we'll bring the face-off back into the Prior Lake zone on the near board, on the far boards. Bratzel taking the face off. Over to Helm. Prior Lake will walk out of the zone with it. Coming with speed. Hughes will push him off course. Bratzel comes and picks it up off the board. Starts with speed. Over for White. White able to keep it. Walks it into the Prior Lake zone. Leaves it back for Helm. Helm can't quite get a hold of it. And it'll come back out into neutral for Thomas. Thomas over for Hughes. Hughes fires it all the way down for a blocker save. It comes to the half boards. Helm up for Thomas. Thomas fires it wide down into the corner. Prior Lake will fire it all the way around to the near board and then all the way out of the zone. Thomas will fire it up for White, and it'll go all the way down deep. No icing. And it'll rung all the way up the far boards to Skyberg in neutral. Skyberg off the far boards for Helm. Helm will put it down deep. Skyberg able to hold the zone and push it back down deep. Bratzel into forecheck. Prior Lake will come off the far board, and it'll come all the way back into the Elks zone. Bratzel will fire it up, or Bassett will fire it up for Skyberg. Skyberg walking in. Quick shot, pad save, and a cover by Prior Lake. 5:29 left in the period. Halverson taking the face off. Wins it back for Riley. Riley with a quick shot. Saved by Prior Lake goalie. Riley with it on the half board. Centers up for Halverson. Halverson with a shot. Center mass save by Prior Lake. Truzinski or Halverson will take the face off. It'll come back into neutral, and it's called offside. And the faceoff will come just outside the Prior Lake bench. Halverson taking the faceoff. It gets pushed forward for Prior Lake. Riley will take control. Quick shot. Goal! Riley with a shot and a goal! That's JR's second goal of the game! Jack Riley will tie the game at 3 with 5 minutes and 8 seconds left in the period. Alcott will take the face off and it'll come back for Prior Lake to regroup just inside their zone. They'll fire it up. Bankston will get a hold of it. Go across for Rotz. Rotz comes back for Bankston. Bankston will go across for Stoltz. Alcott will strip of the puck and continue trying to walk in, and it'll come off the near board. Out into center. Hughes defending, and he'll flip it up. And Stoltz will strip the puck and continue walking in and put it down deep. Rod's with it on the far boards. Another quick shot. Pad save. It'll come to the near board. It'll come out 2-on-2. And it is offside. And the faceoff will come just outside the Elks zone. We have now got ourselves back into the game. 3-3 with 4:15 left. Bratzel will take the face-off. It'll come back for Westgard. Westgard back for Skyberg. Skyberg off the board for Westgard. It'll go up into the air for Skyberg. Will put it back up into the air. And it'll come back for Bassett inside the Elk zone. Up for White. Off the board, it gets held in by Prior Lake. And Bassett fighting on the near board. It'll come down Skyberg up for Westgard. Westgard can't find it in his feet. And it'll be dumped down deep. Skyberg to pick it up behind the net, rings it up for White. White able to put it off the boards and out of the zone. Skyberg gets stripped of the puck, a one-on-one. Prior Lake can't hang on to it, and Westgard will clear it to the board. Hang on to it into the corner. And he'll forward it up to Bratzel. Bratzel gaining speed. Will stop inside the zone, and it'll go deep into the Prior Lake zone. It'll ring around the near board. Bratzel fighting. Skyberg able to hold the zone and hits Bratzel. And Skyberg continuing to hold the zone. And Prior Lake will fire it off of the board. Halverson taking the face off at center ice. It gets pushed through for Prior Lake. Straczynski coming in, shot and bulldozes into the net. That was funny. No penalty, no. Just no. No penalty, nah. Just no. A quick break Straczynski got, and he ends up going right into the net himself. And the face-off in the Prior Lake zone on the near board. Halverson taking the face-off. Wins it back for Jack Riley. Riley trying to walk in, gets stripped of the puck, and it'll come out. Prior Lake coming down. Hughes puts it off of the far board for Straczynski. Straczynski with speed, putting it down to the Prior Lake zone. Halverson picking it up and putting it deep. Straczynski in the corner. Riley will pick it up, put it back down for Trzynski. Trzynski battling. Prior Lake will pick it up, and it'll be deflected back down into the corner. They'll ring it around the near boards. Halverson there to pick it up. Halverson back down for Trzynski, just misses the target, and Prior Lake will fire it out of the zone, and it'll go down deep into the Elks zone. Thomas will ring it all the way around. Prior Lake will hold the zone, and Hughes pushes it out, and Prior Lake will flip it back down deep. Thomas back to pick it up behind the net, and will go up for Stoltz. Stoltz can't quite hang on to it, and Thomas will gain back control, and Stoltz will put his guy on the floor, and Hughes will go to grab it in the corner. He'll flip it out into center. Prior Lake will with a quick shot and misses wide. Riley puts it off the boards out into neutral. Halverson fighting on the near board with Stoltz and Riley. Prior Lake will come away with it, walk a shot, and Hughes will backhand it out of the zone. It'll slow down and not go for icing. There'll be a wholesale change, and Prior Lake will gain and come back the other way. Alcott holding the zone. Back, Prior Lake's goalie will stop it behind the net and ring it up the close side. Skyberg with a shot. Another save by the Prior Lake goalie. Alcott fighting off the near board with Rotz. Skyberg will hold it in again. And Prior Lake, Skyberg will hold the zone again. It's bouncing just in front. Stoltz with it. Quick shot and blocker save. It'll be up the near boards, and Skyberg will hold in again. And he'll backhand it down deep. It'll come up to close boards, and it'll be cleared out and go all the way back down. 21 seconds left. Skyberg up to Stoltz. Stoltz backhands it up, and Prior Lake just misses the pickup, and Prior Lake will come down. Quick shot blocked by Rotz, and it'll still try to center it out again. Nobody there. 3 seconds left. Quick shot and pad save. Another center, and that buzzer will go, and that's the end of regulation. Regulation ends 3-3, and we are headed into overtime. Hands are freaking shaking.
Are they cool?
Ow. Are you laughing at me right now? You're laughing at me right now?
No.
My hands are shaking. Yours are sweaty. My hands are cold. Feel how cold these are? Give me your hands. Oh yeah. That's fine. You know what? I feel like JR's got full crew with the hat trick. I love going. All right. After the short intermission, we are back for overtime. Score is 3-3, and we're headed into sudden death overtime. Switching sides. Halverson will take the face off. He'll win it back for Skyberg. Skyberg will start skating, put it off the boards to Trzynski. It'll come back out for Skyberg. Skyberg at center ice will loft it down deep into the Prior Lake zone. Prior Lake will pick it up behind their net and try to backhand it back the other way. Trzynski battling onto the board. Trying to control. We'll try to center, and it will come back out the other way. Skyberg will throw it up, and it'll come all the way back down into the Elks zone. Bassett to pick it up. We'll put it high off the glass. Prior Lake will hold the zone. Bassett fighting. Halverson battling on the far board. Bassett will pick it up behind the net, walk it back to the near boards. We'll put it up for Trzynski. It'll come off. Quick shot and glove save by Sherritt. The face-off will come down into the Elks zone on the near board. Next goal will win. Bratzel takes the face-off. It's pushed right through to Sherritt for another cover, and the face-off will come back to the same place. Bratzel taking the face-off. Wins it back into the corner for Thomas. Thomas floats it all the way out, trying for Helm. It just misses the target, and it's just floating out into neutral. Prior Lake will put it through. Hughes able to push it back into neutral. Back for Thomas in the Elk zone. We'll go across for Hughes. Hughes will shoot it into the Prior Lake bench, and he apologizes before the face-off will come down into the Elk zone on the other side. Bratzel takes the face-off, starts walking behind the net, floats it around the boards for Westgard, starts battling. Bratzel takes a whack at it. It'll come to center for Hughes. Hughes up for Helm. Helm off the boards, trying to get it up for Bratzel, and Prior Lake will send it all the way back down. Pad save by Sherritt. Thomas will stop behind the net, give it for Helm. Helm will backhand off the boards for Bratzel. Bratzel trying to push it forward for Westgard. It's intercepted and put all the way up for Prior Lake. They'll come walking back the other way. It's stopped by Thomas. Thomas will start skating. We'll try to go up for Hughes. Hughes able to put it off the boards up, and it'll come back the other way. No icing. Thomas tries to bring it through. Thomas will start skating and put it up. Prior Lake will hold the zone, but Thomas will push it all the way out, and it'll go into the Prior Lake zone, and they'll come back around. Hughes holds it right out at the blue line, tries to backhand it up. Second time off the boards is successful, but they'll throw it right back the other way. And Prior Lake will put it down into the corner. Stoltz will put it off the boards, and it'll come back out into neutral. Alcott will strip of the puck and start walking in, push it through. Another shot by Rotz, just misses wide. And Prior Lake will put it off the boards and come back the other way. Bassett will grab the puck back in the Elks zone, falls. And Prior Lake will try to center. Rotz will take advantage and flip it out into neutral. Ooh. Rotz able to keep the zone and starts walking in. Centers, just misses the net out front. Stoltz able to hold the zone back and put it down deep. Bassett trying to go back behind the net. Puts it back up. Prior Lake fires it all the way down for icing. And the face-off will come down into the Prior Lake zone on the near board. 6:31 left in our first overtime. As next goal will go. Duncan fires up. Oh, he didn't win the faceoff. Riley centers out for Trzynski. Trzynski not quite able to capitalize. The Prior Lake goaltender. Sherritt doesn't touch it for icing, and it'll come all the way back down into the Prior Lake zone for a faceoff on the other side. Halverson will take the faceoff. Come on. Neutralizes. Trzynski will keep it in. Puck just sitting there. Riley will push it through, and it is fired all the way up into the netting by Prior Lake. And the puck will go out of the field of play, and the faceoff will come down to the same place. 6:09 left in the first overtime. Halverson taking the faceoff. Riley stripping of the puck. Another shot, another shot. We're trying to shove it in. It'll go back behind the net. Up the half board. Trzynski will push it back for Hughes. Hughes able to hold the zone back for Trzynski. Trzynski tries to center, and it's intercepted by Prior Lake, and they'll come with speed back the other net. Shot and glove save by Sherritt. For all the people watching, I am very stressed out right now. My hands are shaking. Gabby's hands are shaking. Not because they're cold, but because I'm nervous. And Bratzel will take the face off. Up for White. White will push it all the way out into neutral. Prior Lake will fire it off of the far boards. Back for Bassett. Bassett will go across for Skyberg. Skyberg tips it to Westgard. Westgard back to Skyberg. Skyberg will throw it all the way up for White, but it just bouncing a little too much. And Prior Lake will get it down deep into the Elks zone. Skyberg will pick it up back behind the net. Start skating with speed. Go! And gives it up to Westgard. Westgard coming in. Will beat around, trying to beat around wide. Prior Lake will pick up the puck and give it up. Prior Lake coming back 2-on-2. Will beat around one guy. Quick shot. Misses wide. Will come up for Westgard. And it'll tip all the way up. White trying to beat his guy. It'll come back the other way. And Skyberg will go back to retrieve on the far board. Skyberg all the way across for Westgard. Westgard up for Bratzel. Bratzel tries to get White and just misses. It'll go for icing into the Prior Lake zone, and the face-off will go all the way down to the Elks zone on the near board. Or on the far board. Alcott taking the face-off, gets pushed through. Rotz will get a hold of it and push it all the way down on net, and Prior Lake will cover. And the face-off will come down into the Prior Lake zone now on the far board. My mouth just got really dry. Alcott taking the face-off again. Gets pushed through and all the way out of the zone and all the way down for icing. And the face-off will come back down to the same spot. 4:24 left to play in the first overtime.
Got this.
Alcott taking the face-off. Wins it over for Rotz. Rotz working on the boards. Puts it down for Stoltz. Stoltz battling on the boards. It'll come back up the half board for Rotz. Rotz trying to keep it down low. Is successful at holding the puck. Stoltz helping, and Prior Lake will fire it all the way out. Hughes coming back to retrieve. Is able to get a hold of the puck and fire it back up the boards. Prior Lake will hold the zone, and it'll come back to the corner. Quick block by Alcott, and it'll go back up. Alcott getting room. If he can just go. Alcott creating space, centers it out for Stoltz. Can't quite get a handle on it, and it'll come back out into center. Thomas will try to go over for Hughes. Hughes can't quite get a puck on it, and Prior Lake will try to center it, and it'll miss twice. Hughes fighting on the near board with Stoltz. Hughes up to Rotz. Rotz skating, and will dump it down deep. And a pad save by Prior Lake, and they'll leave it out. And they'll fire it off of the far board. It'll go just under Skyberg, and Bassett will pick it up. Prior Lake will hold it into the corner. It'll center it out front. But Skyberg able to chip it away and give it up. Jack trying to get there. Gets there and tries to hold it out for Halverson. Halverson back down. But Prior Lake will take control and throw it out into neutral. Bassett will throw it down deep. And Prior Lake will bring it out a one-on-one. Skyberg getting back. Skyberg will strip of the puck and come back the other way. Skyberg holding control. Will leave it back for Jack Riley. Riley with a shot. Quick stick save. Another one. A diving attempt by Skyberg will just miss. And they'll fire it all the way down into the Elks zone for icing. And the face-off will come back down into the Prior Lake zone. About a 2-inch miss by Skyberg. So close. Not quite able to get a hold of it. 2:15 left in the overtime. Bratzo wins it back for Hughes. Hughes with a quick shot. Ooh, just tipped wide. They'll backhand it up the near boards. White will put it back down behind the net. Bratzo fighting, and it'll come up the far board. And White will hold the zone. And Prior Lake will fire it down the other way. Sherritt leaving it back behind the net for Hughes. Hughes way up off the glass, and it'll hit the netting, and the face-off will be down in the Elk zone on the far board. Bratzel taking the face-off. Prior Lake will win the face-off and throw it back down deep. Bratzel fighting behind the net. Can't quite get a hold of the puck, and Sherritt will come out of the net and cover it. 1:36 left to play in the first overtime. Alcott coming in to take the face-off. It'll be pushed through, and a quick shot by Prior Lake, and another cover by Sherritt. Rotz will take the face-off. It'll be pushed through for Prior Lake. Prior Lake getting control. Quick shot blocked by Stoltz. Prior Lake trying to center out front, back behind the net. It will go up for the point. Quick shot. Quick blocker save by Sherritt. And Rotz will break a stick. And Thomas fighting. It'll center out front. Not quite able to get a handle on it. Another quick shot. It's loose out front, and the whistle will go. Sherritt able to get a handle on it. Rotz has broken a stick. A minute and 6 seconds left to play in the first overtime. The face-off will be on the near side in the Elk zone. Halverson taking the face-off. It'll come out to Prior Lake. Prior Lake out front. Quick! A block by JR, and he's pulled down. No call. And Prior Lake will control it back behind. Halverson trying to get a stick on it. Skyberg will pull back the other way. We'll center it. Nobody there. And Prior Lake will come back 1-on-2 back the other way. Prior Lake walking behind the net. Will come back for a quick shot, and they'll miss the net. They'll fire it back around to the near side. It'll center it. It'll come off the side of the net and go back up for Chuzinski. Chuzinski skating into neutral, trying to strip the puck, but it'll come back into the Elks zone for Bassett. Bassett will put it off the boards into neutral, and Bassett trying to clear, and Prior Lake back the other way. Another quick shot and off the post, and that'll be the end of the first overtime. Score still 3-3. And we will. Is it another overtime? Well, the refs are saying something. Don't hold me to this, but I think it's another overtime, and I don't know if they'll go 4-on-4 or 3-on-3, but we'll go into period 5. This game is going to kill me. If I don't have a heart arrhythmia already, it's going to be later. And a huge thanks to Rob Stoltz, because he's going to go fill up all the water bottles for the Elks. I don't know if my voice is shaky, but my arms sure are. How do you feel right now, Gabby?
I hate this.
Yeah, I hate this too. But you know what? We're just going to put it in. We're going to put it in, and then this game will be behind us. And yeah, confidence. Confidence, people. Let's go.
What did it say, Lincoln?
All right.
Work hard.
It's another 5-on-5 overtime. 10 minutes on the clock.
Come on, Z.
They're not going to switch sides this time. Sherritt fixing his mask in goal. Right away! Right away! Halverson will take the face off. It'll neutralize, and Prior Lake will put it right down. Back behind the net is Hughes to pick it up. Will create space the other way and push it forward for Chuzinski. Chuzinski tries to center, but it's put back down behind the net. Hughes back up the boards for Chuzinski. It's held in by Prior Lake. Chuzinski will put it out. It's a one-on-one, can't find the puck. And he comes walking down into the corner. He'll push it through. Riley will try to send it back for him, but it'll go high up off the board. Chuzinski trying to hold on to it, trying to shoot, can't quite get a hold of it, and we'll go back behind the net, and it'll go high. Thomas will hold the zone once, and then it'll come out a second time, and it'll go all the way down into the Elks zone, and Sherritt will cover, and the face-off will come down in the Elks zone on the far side. For anybody watching, I'm really sorry. I'm tripping over my words, but I'm so nervous I can't get the words out. Prior Lake will win the face-off. Back up. Quick shot goes wide, but was very close. Skyberg behind the net. Starts skating. Will flip it out for Westgard. Westgard stops on the near board. Will backhand it off the boards. Prior Lake controlling. Will put it off the far boards. Skyberg to pick it up. Skyberg across to Bassett. Bassett back to Skyberg. Skyberg centers for Bratzel. Bratzel will put it down deep. White chasing. It'll go around and Westgard battle in the corner. Bratzel back behind the net. And Westgard in the corner will put it up for Bassett. Bassett will start walking down the boards. We'll go back behind the net, try to leave it for White. Can't quite get a hold of it, and Prior Lake will send it all the way down for icing. And we'll have a face-off in the Prior Lake zone on the far board. If I wasn't stressed before, I'm a little stressed right now. Alcott taking the face-off. Alcott will push it to the far boards. Rotz will control in the corner. Prior Lake will ring it all the way around and put it off the boards. Hughes will put it back the other way, and Stoltz will put it deep in the Prior Lake zone. Their goalie will stop it behind the net, and they'll ring it up the far boards. It'll come all the way out into neutral. Hughes in a foot race. It's out front. Prior Lake backhands it back behind the net. Hughes and Alcott battling back on the boards. Hughes dropped his stick, and it'll come across. I don't think it's broken. Why would he drop it and not pick it up again? Oh, I guess he is going to grab another stick. Let's go, another $300. Alcott will come in to take the face off again. It'll be pushed through. Rotz will take control, and we'll go one-on-one. Rotz coming through. Quick shot misses wide. Hughes will hold the zone and put it back down deep, and it'll ring all the way to the far side. Stoltz coming in, and it'll go all the way out into neutral. Thomas will float it up for Alcott. Alcott will enter the zone. One move and a second one, and it is stripped from him. And Rotz with a quick shot. It'll go up to the far board. Lincoln trying to do it, and it'll be shot all the way down for icing. And the faceoff will come back down to the Prior Lake zone.
Come on, Jeff.
All right, about 7:14 left to play in the fifth period, the second overtime. Halverson takes the face off. It gets pushed all the way down for no icing. And Bassett will come back to pick it up in the corner. It'll come back. Riley helping. Bassett trying to push it up the boards, but Prior Lake will fire it all the way around to the near side. Trzynski fighting on the boards. Skyberg will pick it up. Is fighting down low. Skyberg will pull it up, push it up for Trzynski. Trzynski all the way across for Riley. Riley will leave it up for Halverson. Halverson walking in and will throw it down deep for Riley. Riley will try to center it. Nobody there, and Prior Lake will come 2-on-2 back the other way. Prior Lake walking it down into the Elks zone. Will backhand to center. Nobody there. Somebody all alone. Quick backhand shot is moved to the side by Sherritt, and Trzynski centers it for Halverson. Halverson walking into the zone, leaves it back for Riley. Riley whiffs on the shot, and it'll go back into the Elks zone. Skyberg coming back to pick it up. Walking it through neutral and into the Prior Lake zone. And he'll push past one defender. Quick shot. It's laying out front. And their player is sitting on it. The whistle will be blown, and 5:56 left in the second overtime. And the The face-off will come to the near side in the Laker zone. Bratzel taking the face-off will push it through. Prior Lake will pick it up behind their net. Westgard will strip of the puck. Bratzel working in the corner. Helm trying to help. It'll ring to the near boards. Prior Lake will put it off the boards. And will start skating out. Thomas will backhand it off the boards. And Prior Lake will gain control and fire it in. Sherritt will push it over. Hughes blocks the pass from coming out in front, puts it high off the glass. Prior Lake will keep it in the zone. Thomas retrieving back behind the net will forward it to the near boards to Westgard. Westgard back down for Hughes. Hughes off the glass. Prior Lake will keep it in. Hughes fighting on the boards with Bratzel. Bratzel able to pull it through into neutral, but can't quite get past the red line. Hughes will put it off the boards, trying to get it out. Bratzel is pushed off course. Hughes 2-on-1 with Helm. Hughes gets stopped. Back out for Bratzel. Bratzel will put it in. It's out in front in the crease. And it's back behind the net. And Prior Lake will come back the other way. Hughes will push him off course and forward it up to Helm. Helm will go across for Thomas. Thomas skating. Will go in. Another shot, another shot. Whiffs on the first shot. Second shot is a good save by the Prior Lake goalie. Elks really trying their best to put it in right now. Couple of really good chances. 4:22 left to play in the second overtime. Face off on the far boards in the Lakers zone. Alcott taking the face off. Will neutralize. Lakers will come out with it. 2-on-2. They'll forward it down deep into the Elks zone. They'll center it out front. Quick shot. And Bassett's hurt in the corner. Bassett's hurting in the corner. He's grabbing his leg. Taking him a while to get up. He's sitting up, but he's hurting. Elks can't afford to lose people right now. Bassett holding his lower leg. Looks like he went into the boards harder. Look, Bassett's able to get up, but pushing very gingerly on what seems to be
Hang in there, Bassett!
his right leg, I think. I'm not sure, but he's grabbing it down low. The faceoff will come to the near boards in the Elks zone. Alcott taking the faceoff. It'll be pushed forward. Lakers will put it back down deep in the Elks zone. They'll try to center it out front. Thomas getting it and starts skating with speed. With speed, quick shot, pad save, and it's back behind the net. Not quite able to hold the zone. Alcott back, puts it off the boards to Rotz. Rotz coming through neutral and into the Lakers zone. He's walking it down deep, tries to go behind the net. Fighting on the boards is Trzynski. Tries to center out front for Skyberg. Quick shot, high above the net. Another shot, another shot. And the Prior Lake is able to get a hold of it for a cover. So many centered chances, and we just can't get in the net. 3:28 left to play in the second overtime. Halverson taking the faceoff back for Riley. Riley can't quite hang on to it, and Prior Lake will come back the other way. Skyberg will put it off the boards. Thomas will put it back out into neutral. Prior Lake having to regroup. Skyberg will take a hold of it, will backhand to Thomas, mishandles a little bit and fired off the boards out into neutral. And Prior Lake will dump it back for icing. And the face-off will come down into the Prior Lake zone on the far boards.
Go Z.
3:02 left. Halverson taking the face-off. Prior Lake will come back the other way and dump it down deep into the Elks zone. Bankston back behind the net. It's out in front, and Halverson's able to clear. It slows down just inside the Prior Lake zone, so no icing. And Prior Lake will go high off the glass, and it'll go all the way down for icing.
Go Z.
And the face-off will come back into the Prior Lake zone on the near side. Halverson taking the face-off. It'll go down into the corner. It'll ring all the way around to the far side. Bankston will hold the zone, but Prior Lake will push it back out. Hughes will grab it in neutral and go all the way up for Halverson. Halverson will put it down deep in the Lakers zone. Trzynski there first will backhand it out. Attempt of a shot at Halverson and can't quite get there. And a Prior Lake will forward it down into the Elks zone. Hughes there will push it up the near boards. Trzynski will leave it out. And Bankston will start skating, but it's blocked from coming out of the zone. It'll finally get out, and Jack Riley will put it across the ice and down deep. The Lakers will backhand back the other way, skating through neutral and into the Elks zone. A quick shot blocked by Bankston, and they'll put it off the far board, and they'll ring it back around to the near side. Trzynski in, it'll go all the way out. Prior Lake walking in. Skyberg able to push it out of the zone and into neutral. They'll dump it back down deep in the Elks zone. 1:27 left. Skyberg will throw it back out into neutral. And Bankston will flip it up, and Prior Lake will palm it and bring it back down and put it down deep in the Elks zone. Skyberg chasing, puts it high off the glass. Prior Lake will hold it in. Fighting on the boards is Halverson and White. Skyberg trying to help, backhands it, and is able to get it out of the zone. White coming through. Halverson will put it down deep in the zone. 50 seconds left in the second overtime. Prior Lake will backhand it up the far boards. Westgard will come off, gets knocked off, and it'll come back into neutral. Thomas will put it down deep in the Prior Lake zone. Westgard in battling. White, it'll come out, and Prior Lake will put it up in the air and back down. Prior Lake down to it first. They'll center, nobody there to capitalize, and it'll come out of the zone. Offside, Elks have time to regroup. 18 seconds left. Bratzel up to Westgard. Westgard can't quite hang on to it, and it'll go back down deep in the Elks zone. 10 seconds left. Skyberg will go all the way up for Westgard. Westgard has it knocked off. And that'll be the end of the second overtime. The players will get off for a resurfacing. And we'll go into a third overtime when we come back. Score is still 3-3.
Hang in there, Owen.
Bassett with an ice pack, able to skate from his own will off the ice. And this is going to be a long one, so we'll be back after the Zam.
Cindy's. You're on.
You are awesome, Jay.
I know. Why does she get all of it? Why? Come on, I don't get nothing.
What? Mom.
Have fun.
My heart is this far
I know.
off of my chest.
I'm gonna go and use the facility. You might have to do it too. Do you want to go first?
No, I'll wait till you. You know, yesterday, it's because yeah, she's like, don't put up with it. But it was one of my other friends. I guess why. She two chats. Woo. So I tried to say I know just somebody who writes oh she wants pictures. When my pictures transfer. All in here already? They're all in here already, yeah. I busy.
I can't keep it both of you.
Well, I've been watching it for 10 seconds after. Sure. Oh, now the Zamboni is here malfunction. Great! So, and the Zamboni, I guess, is going to malfunction now. Guys, we'll be here till midnight. Hey, tell the next game they're gonna have to play over there. Yeah, they were supposed to be on like 30 minutes ago. That's so funny. We have like 30 people watching, and that's not normal. Yeah. Okay. After the second overtime, we Zam and the Zamboni's gonna break down. We're gonna be here till midnight, folks.
Well, the record for me is 4 overtimes. That was neck.
Yeah.
There's a team. Did you see the U12?
Oh yeah. Did you know there was a U12 team
Yeah,
that went like
it was a U12 or U15.
they went 19 periods, and then they finally went into a shootout.
Let's not do 19.
I think over the course of like 3 days. Yeah, something like that.
They did like 15 5-on-5, and then they did 2 3-on-3s, and then they finally went into a shootout.
You have to use the
Ran
bathroom.
over 3 days.
You have to get up and stretch or you get a blood clot.
Yeah.
That didn't sound good, did it? Correct.
Well, Dave, I'm not gonna make it for a day. I was growing up.
We trying to call them. Pick it up.
That exam yours are very good. You didn't get wide enough to smash. I wonder if you didn't like That'll free. That was a lot of water. I was still wearing my credit. Yeah. So I took my dad over there yesterday. My car called and they came out. You feeling good to exercise?
Do you like recording?
Why don't you put it on your fast?
Oh, it's working. Those are all out the window.
I can see it already happening.
That's how it goes on the side.
That's just this year next. Yeah.
Not what I was going to do, but it works.
Yeah. Well, you know, good job. Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Give it all. What about my favorite? No, right.
Better tell mom to get back in here.
Oh, they're trying to look at
They're letting the ice freeze.
That's true.
Always like that. You like to skate. Well, we're still doing that right in front of the.
Yeah.
Look at how much. Yeah, right in front of the. Yeah.
Oh.
We have a guy who comes outside.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Normally, after the resurface, you would say, welcome back to the third period. But nope, this will be the sixth period, my friends. This is our third overtime of the day. And let's get started. I'm nervous. You're nervous. Everybody's nervous. You're awesome too.
Thank you, Cindy.
It's Cindy. My father says thank you. We appreciate it. But let's get it going. All right. All right, Halverson in to take the face off. Gets pushed through for Prior Lake will control back in their zone. Go up high off the boards and back for Thomas. Thomas across to Skyberg. Gets in control. Quick shot and great save by Sherritt. Gets centered. Nobody there. Another quick shot. Back out. Riley able to clear it to the boards. Comes back down behind for Skyberg. Skyberg will flip it up. It comes out in front. Prior Lake will hold the zone. A quick block save by Thomas. Another shot. Prior Lake will put it in. And the Elks season is over. The Elks will lose 4-3, 30 seconds into the third overtime. And Prior Lake will go on and the Elks will not.
Let's pick up. I won't need it again.
Sorry.
No, it's all right.